In this video, we're going to talk about naming esters, and if you haven't watched part 1, I suggest that you go back and watch it, because if you don't understand that, then this is going to be pretty confusing. So let's pick up where we left off. We have, on the side that doesn't have any oxygens, we have a benzene, and then on the side that has the esters, we have 1, 2, 3 carbons. And that would usually be propane, but we're going to call it propanoate because of the ester functional group. On the right side, we have a benzene ring with no extra carbons. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbons, which a benzene usually has. So there's a substituent. This is going to be called phenyl. And so therefore the name of this compound is going to be phenyl. You put the substituent first, and then you put the parent chain name propanoate. So let's talk about this compound. And actually, that was a chlorine. We're going to divide it into 2 sections again. As you can see, we have extra substituents which we didn't have before. On the lonely side, without any oxygens, you have 1, 2, 3 carbons, so that's called a propo. On the left side, your main chain is going to be 5 carbons long, so 5 carbons long would be pentanoate, but you have a lot of other things that you have to take into account. You have an ethyl on carbon 2 and a chloro on carbon 3, and the chlorine is going to come first in naming it because C comes before E in the alphabet. So you're going to start with 3 chloro, then move on to 2 ethyl, and then pentanoate, and you should keep in mind that there shouldn't be any spaces between these two. These should be the same. And then when you want to write the name of it fully, you start with that side, propyl. You do put a space, and then you put 3 chloro, 2 ethyl, pentanoate. Now, let's talk about this compound. Here you can see that we have 2 carbons on the lonely side, and it's going to be called an ethyl. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 here, which is going to be called butanoate. But notice that we have an alcohol group on carbon number 3. An alcohol group as a substituent is going to be called hydroxy, and since it's on carbon 3, it's going to be 3-hydroxybutanoate. To put it together, you put this first, the ethyl, and then 3-hydroxybutanoate, or butanoate, or you can call it whatever. Now let's put let's try to name that. So feel free to pause the video and try to name it. So as you can see, we have our ester group, but we also have a ketone group. Which one is going to be prioritized? So you need to know that the ester is prioritized, and this is going to be a substituent. So let's divide up our ester into two portions. The lonely side is going to have 1, 2, 3 carbons, which is propyl. And then on the main chain we have, looks like 6 carbons. So that's going to be called hexanoate. Now we have two substituents on this 6 carbon ring. We have this right here, which is an oxo. So whenever you see oxygen double bonded to the carbon as a substituent, it's going to be called oxo. So it's going to be 3-oxo because it's on position 3. Then we have an iodine on position 4. That's going to be called 4-iodo. Now you're going to start, when you write it right here, you're going to start with the iodo because I comes before O in the alphabet. So 4-iodo, 3-oxo heptanoate. And then putting it together, you're going to put propyl and then 4-iodo, 3-oxo, there should have been a dash here, heptanoate. Yeah. All right. So go ahead and try to name this compound. So to start, let's divide it up into two sections again. And then we're going to call to the left side. So far we've only looked at straight chain alkyl groups, but in this case we have our longest chain here is going to be 3 carbons, so that's propyl. But we also have a methyl on carbon 2, so that's 2-methyl. So 2-methyl propyl is going to be the lonely side, and then the side with the ester, we're going to have 4 carbons in the main chain, and that's going to be called butanoate. We have 2 substituents. Whenever you see OCH3, that's going to be called ethoxy, and in this case it's on position 2. So we're going to put 2 dash, actually it's called methoxy, my bad. If you see it with 2 carbons, it's ethoxy. If you see it with 1 carbon, it's methoxy. Now this NH2, this is called amino, and it's on carbon 3, so it's going to be called 3-amino. When you write it out right here, we're going to put the amino first because A comes before M in the alphabet. So 3-amino 2 don't have no space, methoxybutanoate, and then to put it together, 2-methyl propyl, and you'd put a space, then you'd go 3-amino 2-methoxybutanoate, and I ran out of space a little bit, but it's okay. Now for our last example for today, how do we name this one? So you can see that we actually have two different ester groups. In between them, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbons. So that would be pentane normally. But since we have two ethyl groups, it's going to be pentane dioate. That's going to be the suffix for two ester groups. And then on the ends, the corner ends, we have an ethyl here and we have an ethyl here. So it's called diethyl pentane dioate. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching.